Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
That's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Case just finished up his movie review of A Nightmare on Elm Street, movie number 1 in that series. And if you missed it, you can go to the podcast later on and check it out. A couple follow-ups. Case had some questions about body bags. They do have rubber on the inside. A body bag does.
Probably easy to clean. I get it.
They don't reuse body bags, do they?
I'm sure they do.
You think?
You can't just be throwing away body bags. Think about how many you have to order.
Well, a lot of people die. I mean...
That's what I mean. I'm like, what are they going to complain it's dirty? It's a body bag.
I'm not... Spoiler alert, we're all going to be in a body bag someday.
Yeah.
Exactly, and I'm not going to... I would prefer it was recycled and save the,
Is that right?
save the world for everybody else.
So, multiple people...
I'm already dead if I'm in it.
Yeah.
I don't want a fresh one. What if it's first class?
That's what I want.
I didn't have that while I was alive.
Well...
All of a sudden I'm going to get it?
I'm just putting it out there for anybody that might come across me. I want a fresh body bag. I want one that comes out of the plastic.
It's got that new body bag smell.
Yeah.
Your rider for when you're dead is just so long.
Well, 311 is playing my funeral. They verified it when they were here in the lounge. Hey, it's my last dance, basically. I want a fresh body bag, and I want 311 to be treated with respect while they let them perform as long as they want. I don't want any cutoff of 311.
Yeah, no curfew. It's not a Wrigley show where you got to be out by 11.
I don't want people next door to the funeral home complaining it's too loud.
And who's going to cater this? Because it has to be big on your list. What's the food?
Portillo's.
Of course. The reason you're there? So the appropriate.
Now, speaking of movie reviews, we have 2 more weeks because on Halloween, he's going to do Halloween. But we have 1 more week of a movie, and we decided it'd be great because we've had thousands of texts and calls on this. Mm-hmm. So do not text on this right now. Case is going to put up a Facebook post, and you guys vote on what horror movie Case should do next week.
And we're doing it based off that post. Your text will mean nothing to us.
Because Kenzie wants no text right now.
I'm not counting.
Yeah.
It's something to go back to later after it's been out for at least 24 hours of voting. I'm not coming in 24 hours and counting the text.
Kenzie's coming in tomorrow to go through the text on a Saturday.
Do it on the Facebook post.
So on the Facebook post, vote for a horror movie that Case should review next week. And then we'll do Halloween the next week after on Halloween, when, by the way, the Q101 Halloween pop-up with American authors is happening on Halloween night. So make sure you are there. Go to Q101.com for the free first-come, first-served ticket and enter for a chance at guaranteed entry. American authors performing live. And then as the killers, dressed as the greatest serial killers in movies, playing the killers' hot fuss in its entirety.
And now Case will know what all the costumes mean.
That's right.
Hopefully, I don't know.
You're welcome.
What do you mean, hopefully? You saw the movies.
Yeah, but if one of them is Freddy, then I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to be real or not.
You don't know if they're really there at the gummy bear.
Fall asleep, you'll be fine.
It's 21 and over. We'll have a Halloween costume contest, $300 for first place, $200 for second, third gets $100. It's going to be amazing. So make sure and put it on your calendar, Q101.com for Halloween night to be at the Cubby Bear with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We'll get to a little music entertainment news coming up. A request I've never seen of a band of its audience. I'll give you the band and what they're requesting the audience do. Of all the things, I've never in the history of music heard something like this.
Are they asking them to call Xfinity?
And get the Chicago Sports Network on the air? They're not asking that. We'll have that when we come back, and also after Lincoln Park, so 3 minutes away from a chance to go see Coldplay in Las Vegas, a full trip. We'll have that as well in 3 minutes with Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Now is your chance to experience the music of the spheres with a trip to see Coldplay at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Standard message rates apply. Please don't text and drive.
Q101.
Well, here we go. It is Coldplay in Vegas. Vegas, baby!
Woo!
28th anniversary of the movie Swingers today, where we first got that line, Vegas, baby. So Coldplay playing Allegiant Stadium. You'll get 2 field seats where the Raiders play in Las Vegas, not to mention a 2-night stay, round-trip air, the whole trip for 2. You text this keyword to this national number, not the usual text number. This is a special one, 95819. Text the national keyword DREAM, D-R-E-A-M, DREAM, to 95819 right now for your chance to win. DREAM to 95819 right now. Go ahead and do that, and hopefully you win the trip. Good luck. More music and entertainment news here with Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
put us back on the train.
Like the Pretenders, Kenzie?
I do.
Yeah, I like this. I love this song. Unusual request. Unusual request from Chrissy Hine of the Pretenders.
Yeah.
So that's the band I was teasing there. That this band had a very bizarre request of its fans watching the show. They just played the Chicago Theater. I think it was like 4 months ago.
That sounds right. Sometime in the summer.
I wanted to go and I didn't get there for some reason.
They're great live. I saw them open for Fleetwood Mac a few years ago.
Yeah.
Which doesn't sound like a show I would be at, but I had a really good time.
That sounds so awesome. What like a whimsy. The witch in me is sad.
Well, now, before I continue, how the hell did you end up at that show?
A girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
But I really like the Pretenders because Morrissey does a cover of Back on the Chain Gang.
Yeah.
That's great, and that's how I discovered them, and I was into it. But I went to see Fleetwood Mac for a girl.
Well, Chrissy Hine of the Pretenders made a Facebook post saying that the whole point of touring is that the band plays to a different audience every night. And they have a lot of super fans. She's 73 years old now. They've been around for 50 years.
Wow.
So she's pretty much their super fans. And I know a lot of our listeners, for example, let's go to the 21 Pilots a few weeks ago, that have seen over 100 shows, let alone even more than 20 shows. You can't see those all in Chicago. People follow the band around. I admire that. I think it's incredible that the time and money and resources to go ahead and do that, the passion for the music I love. But Chrissy Hine, I don't think she likes the passion for the band so much. So here's the Facebook post she put up. Hi, y'all. And it's very nice, by the way. First of all, thank you to everyone who's come to see our shows. That's very good to start off that way.
Lovely.
We're in the home stretch of this year's tour. It's been a real pleasure. Fantastic cities and fantastic audiences. We've had a great time playing for you.
Great.
One thing we feel obliged to explain. There's always a but. Here we go.
But
When we go on tour, the whole point of it is for the band that we're playing to a different audience every night. Exclamation point. That's why we go on tour. So if we're in Edinburgh, like we are tonight in Scotland, we look forward to seeing local faces. This is what makes it new for us every night. We appreciate those of you who follow us and buy tickets for multiple nights. So please don't be offended if we request that you move out of the front row. All we're asking is that you give the local fans a chance. This is what keeps it new for us, especially after being on tour for so many months and years. See you later, Chrissy Hine. So she's asking people that have paid for the front row tickets and then flown in for a show, let's say, because they like to follow them on the road. I'd love to go see a show in Edinburgh, Scotland.
right, but you'd still be new because you didn't go. These are people at every one. They couldn't tell if you're from Edinburgh.
First off, I'd block everybody behind me.
Yeah, you should never be in the front row. But that's a separate.
That's a whole separate discussion. So I guess she's saying now they can't keep track, but I guess they, in a way, say, oh, there's Jeff in the red jacket again. I know he saw us, over in Dublin, and now he's in Edinburgh over here. Get out of the front row. She wants people to give up their front row seats for the local people, which is really admirable, but it's also really weird.
That is really weird. I have a fear of this, though. Because the band Military Gun, who we played Do It Faster here on Q101 earlier this year, I've been to every single show they've played at in Chicago. They're playing the Aragon in 2 weeks. It'll be the 5th time I've seen them this year.
Wow.
And I am so afraid of their singer, who is a nice man. He's treated us all at Q101 very well. Of him saying, please stop coming to our shows. We know you like the band. I see you every time we're here. We're good. You're good. Don't come anymore.
I don't think it's going to happen. Also, your shows, they don't have seats.
No, typically not. If I'm at a show with seats, something has gone wrong. It's very weird.
Yeah, it was like that Fleetwood Mac show you went to. So yeah, I thought this was the weirdest thing I ever saw, is asking people to give up the most expensive seats to make way for local fans, and she's just asking in a very nice way.
She is, and it's tough because it's not. This is hard. This is one of those ones where it's like, okay, don't say that to people because if they bought the tickets, they bought the tickets.
Sure.
However, she's doing it for the other fans.
Yeah.
So it's like a fan for fan thing. It's a hard decision.
Yeah.
I get where they're coming from. There's obviously some girl named Martha who's probably been in front, and they're like, we know, and the person behind you, whatever show, has not seen us.
Like they know everything about Martha, like how she chews her popcorn really loud during a soft part of the song.
Every group has the super fans, and God bless them. They're the reason you have jobs.
That's right.
That's the thing.
And she's not being demeaning. She really isn't. She said it in the nicest way possible. But it's just weird. I don't know. I'm not giving up my front row seat.
No, of course not.
Well, do you think she's more so requesting to stop buying the front row, or truly, like, even though you paid for it, you can't sit there?
Well, in the
'Cause
verbiage,
that's like, no way, Jose, if I already bought it.
in the verbiage, he says, give it up, meaning like if you're there, hey, everybody just stand up and move back. I'd love her to say that in the middle of the show.
Because I'm not doing that if I bought it, because that's like, okay, you just put this message out, so I'm not trying to disrespect you, but the tickets have been purchased.
Yeah,
Like, in the future, fine, I'll go second with it.
yeah.
But imagine having enough money not only to fly around the world to see the Pretenders, to also continuously purchase the front row tickets.
Yeah. And they got him.
Wow.
I mean, like I said, I imagine this is I've heard a lot of band requests. I don't know if people have heard something weird from a band before and they want to share it. Go ahead at 312-591-8300. But that's one of the weirdest things I've ever heard a band say, give up the front seats.
This is what one of our listeners texted in 219 and said, this is when you bust things out of the wig closet.
Wearing a false, like, Groucho Marx mustache. All right, so that's what they were doing. And also another big announcement yesterday. The Vans Warped Tour has officially confirmed their return with dates and pricing. I mean, so all of us remember the Vans Warped Tour when it first came on, and my vibe was first, wow, it's all these bands for $20 in the parking lot of Tinley Park, not the venue or the United Center or wherever you saw it your first time. And that was the coolness of the Vans Warped Tour. Obviously, a lot of the bands we play here at Q101 got their start on the Vans Warped Tour, and then it went away, and now there's a million festivals. Well, it's back. At least for 3 dates right now. Washington, D.C., June 14th and 15th of next year. Long Beach, California, July 26th and 27th. And Orlando, November 15th and 16th. They have a pre-sale going on. They say 2-day passes start at $149. Not the $20 it was 20 years ago.
Not quite.
30 years ago, whatever. So it's back, and they will announce bands. There's no bands announced right now. But in case you know a little more about how they're going to do that.
Yeah, so the bands that are going to play these 3 Warped Tour festival shows are going to be slowly rolled out over the next few months, with they're attempting to highlight some of the smaller acts that are included. There's going to be 75 to 100 bands allegedly on all 3 of these shows.
Jeez.
Different ones, or do they 2 were? Is it like this is the California show? This is the, like, how does that work?
Kenzie, I actually don't know.
Oh, okay.
I think, well, the thing about Warped Tour during the original incarnation of it was there was no set lineup. Every day you played a different time. People would start, as an opener at the start of the tour. By the end of the summer, their reception was so big they were playing headlining stages. Bands would play 2 cities and then go away, and then they would come back 3 cities later. This is not exactly, I don't want to say the authentic Warped Tour experience, but it's not really Warped Tour as we knew it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it goes well. I don't know. I feel like, with all due respect to Kevin Lyman, the creator of Warped Tour, we've got this covered. We've got Riot Fest here. There's When We Were Young Festival happening in Vegas this weekend. I hope this works out for him. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it.
There's so many music festivals.
It's so many, and also, again,
There's Hellfest in, I think, Germany.
There's Hellfest in, I believe, Denmark.
Yeah.
We're not going to go through all the world festivals. There's a lot of world festivals.
I have more. You shushy, Brian. Shushy.
I will say this. If you remember why Vans Warped Tour at a time when concert prices were rising, they kept it low, it's because the event was like over-sponsored.
Yes.
You walked in and you got 70 flyers in your hand before you got to your seat.
You were joining the Air Force and drinking a Monster Energy drink before you saw a band.
That's exactly right. I did the chin-up stare for the Navy and the Army there before that. Give me
Are
my-
you really going to throw an S on the end of that? You did. Come on. There's a way you did multiple chin-ups. It was probably one.
I'm gonna just circle back here. I can do push-ups. I can't do one chin-up. So there was no chin-ups.
Oh, I see.
I got a little carried away there. I'm sorry. I got a little excited.
You waited in line. You just
Yeah.
weren't able to do it.
But I will say, if we can go back to those days, I'll gladly take the 70 flyers and do all that stuff if concert ticket prices could go down again.
Amen.
That's how they kept that so low at a time when ticket prices were still pretty cheap and not, they were going up, no question. So there you go. All that information. There's your music and entertainment news of Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 saw that Kaleo show at Chicago Theater just a few weeks back. Incredible. And now time for the weekend Q101. You can see some shows this weekend. And everything that's going on, it's a packed, stacked weekend of stuff here in Chicagoland. You should get out. It's going to be in the 70s and sunny. But first, Case, why don't you lay out some of the music stuff that we could go check out?
Absolutely. Well, tonight at the Metro, the band Dexter and the Moonrocks are headlining. They, of course, are on night 2 of this year's Twisted Christmas with the All-American Rejects, The Maine, and Andrew McMahon. We are a half hour away from those tickets going on sale. All of these shows will sell out, but there are tickets available tonight at the Metro for Dexter and the Moonrocks. That is the last time you'll be able to see them headlining in a venue that small.
Love them.
I love them as well. I would highly recommend making your way over there. And if not at the Metro, at the Aragon Ballroom, Nothing But Thieves are there tonight. And if not at the Metro and not at the Aragon, then please join me and I'm sure 100% of Q101 listeners at the Rise Against show tonight at the Salt Shed. This one is sold out. My plea to anybody making their way over tonight is get there early. There are 3 bands on this show. Rise Against, obviously the headliner. The second band is a band called Microwave. They are somebody that if you're really into early 2000s emo music, but you feel like it's a little juvenile now, this is an emo band that sings about adult problems.
Oh.
You are going to relate.
Like Electric Bills?
Something like that.
Okay, I'm going.
No, this is an adult emo band if there ever was one. They are excellent. They are second. And then the opening band is this band called Spiritual Cramp. If you like a band like The Hives or a band like The Clash, they sound very, very similar. If you just like good rock and roll music, you are going to love Spiritual Cramp. I cannot recommend getting there early enough tonight.
So Microwave is something like, ComEd, why do you hurt me? ComEd. Something like that?
That's very good. Yeah, something like that.
That Rise Against show is going to be wild.
It's going to be awesome. It's their first time playing the Salt Shed. I think for all 3 of these bands, it's their first time playing that venue. I still talk to people on almost a weekly basis that are just now going to their first concerts there. Everybody continues to be blown away by this venue. Bands are blown away by that venue. It is going to be so much fun. I will be there tonight. Come say hi if you see me around.
Case is your host for Rise Against tonight at the Salt Shed. That's awesome. Kenzie, what do you got in the weekend Q101?
All right, let's hit up a suburban zone. This is actually in my neck of the woods. So in Elgin, there is this incredible event. You may have heard of it called Nightmare on Chicago Street. This is incredible. It starts at 6 o'clock tomorrow in the evening, and it goes for a long time. It closes out, I want to say, near midnight. It's food, drink, live performances, but what you don't understand is this year especially, they're turning it into a post-apocalyptic world, basically.
Okay.
They shut down all the streets, and they have these full-blown immersive zones. They're freaky. So last year, my parents were in town. We just went out to dinner on Friday night because I'm telling you, this crew is incredible. They will be up the entire night tonight setting this up until it starts, okay?
Yep.
And we were just walking through on Friday because we were going to dinner. It scared the hell out of me because I actually thought all these car accidents occurred. They have truly busted up vehicles and stuff, ran into walls and like bodies laying out of them. And it scared the crap out of me because it was pre-event. And I'm like, oh my God, is somebody okay? It's very, very real. You usually see planes actually sticking out of buildings and stuff.
Ooh.
It is super spooky. They do an incredible job with it. All the local businesses participate. So there's tons of food, tons of drink. There's multiple stages. It's practically a music festival. And I'm telling you, it is scary as hell.
That's
how
awesome.
They do this. Fully immersive in the streets. It's in the downtown Elgin area. It's Nightmare on Chicago Street. 10 out of 10 recommended. If you guys know about some cool venues, Kari, who owns The Hate in Elgin and a bunch of other venues kind of in the Chicagoland area, she's a huge part of this. And it's an incredible team. And I'm telling you, like, they're there right now, and they will be till it starts. It's amazing what they do.
That's so cool. It's just a good weekend for that kind of stuff, too, obviously,
Hell
of getting
yeah.
out. I mean, there's, you've got, Q101, of course, will be at the Massacre Haunted House. That is tomorrow night. That'll be on Saturday night in Montgomery, so you're way south of there to hit up your local area. That place is incredible. So all the information at Q101.com about getting out and getting scared this weekend. And something else this weekend. So tonight through Sunday, Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins, of course, playing Q101's Twisted Christmas. That will be night 3. Tickets, as Case was saying, 10 a.m. They go on sale. They will move fast. 10 a.m. You got to be right in the queue. Get ready to buy your tickets. So a weekend of nostalgia with a series of carnival games and events led by the iconic Bozo the Clown.
Ooh.
How about this? You can take a painting class, play carnival games, and sit in a panel discussion featuring Billy Corgan. He loves clowns. He loves Bozo the Clown. I'm sorry, he loves Bozo the Clown. I don't know about all clowns. He loves Bozo. And that's up at Madame Zuzu's in Highland Park. And the information on that at Q101.com for that hilarious event. And it made me think for a second, just 10 minutes ago, when I played the Swingers drop. Today is the 28th anniversary of the movie Swingers coming out with Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau, our great Chicago guy, Vince Vaughn. But there's another clip that involves Bozo from Seinfeld and Jon Favreau. If you remember the clown scene?
Of course.
Yes.
When George is talking to the clown at the kids' party and can't understand why he doesn't know who Bozo the clown is. Here's how that played out.
Bozo?
No.
B-O-Z-O.
Sorry.
You've never heard of Bozo the Clown?
No.
How could you not know who Bozo the Clown is?
I don't know. I just don't.
How can you call yourself a clown and not know who Bozo is?
Hey, man. What are you hassling me for? This is just a gig. It's not my life. I don't know who Bozo is. What, is he a clown?
What, is he a clown? What, are you kidding me?
Or what is he?
Yes, he's a clown.
All right, so what's the big deal? There's millions of clowns.
All right, just forget it.
Forget me? You should forget it. You're living in the past, man. You hung up on some clown from the 60s, man.
Very good, very good. All right, go fold your little balloon animals, Eric. Eric. What kind of name is that for a clown, huh?
Here's the clown.
Jon Favreau playing the clown way before Rudy, way before everything else he's done in Swingers. That was so good. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. So the weekend Q101, we talked about a lot. There's so much more this weekend going on. Go to Q101.com. Case puts an awesome blog up there with everything we talked about and more. Q101.com, the weekend Q101. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.